a unique opportunity for anime and manga fans. If you're a One Piece fan, I'm sure you'd love to draw your favorite characters. Now you can get 2 amazing books for free. The first book will teach you drawing techniques, and the second one will show you how to create art directly on your phone without even needing to draw. You'll be able to create stunning virtual artwork just like the one on your screen right now. Both books are completely free if you act fast and click the link in the description. Don't waste time. This is a one-of-a-kind opportunity. Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. Today we will talk about the past, specifically about how Dragon and Akainu met and clashed in the Navy. Apparently, Dragon won, and we'll dive into that today. I hope for your support to help our crew win, and to do so, you just need to click the thumbs up button, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you will win an incredible devil fruit, so just comment which fruit you want. Folks, when discussing Dragon and Akainu, we enter an incredibly rich terrain full of possibilities, especially after the recent revelations from Chapter 1097 of One Piece. We discovered that Dragon, before becoming the world's most wanted man, was part of the Navy. This alone changes much of what we imagined about his past. Think about it. The fact that he once served the very organization he now fights with all his might creates a fascinating contrast. How did someone who was part of the most rigid structure of the world government turn against it? Moreover, what could have been so significant that it led him to such a radical change in his life? This turning point, I believe, may have deep connections to Akainu, the most ruthless admiral we know. In the Marineford arc, Akainu made it clear what he thinks about Dragon. When he commented on Luffy, his words carried an almost personal anger. He definitely has the Conqueror's haki, being the son of that man. The emphasis on that man was so heavy, you could feel the disgust in his voice. This leads us to believe that the two have a history. It's not just about ideology. There's something more, a relationship that goes beyond merely pursuing the world government's greatest enemy. But what could have happened between them? The answer might lie in a moment from the past that is yet to be fully revealed. Imagine this. Dragon, as a Marine, would have met Akainu long before either of them reached their current prominent positions. Dragon, being trained in the Navy, likely showed the same strategic brilliance that defines him as the leader of the revolutionaries. Akainu, on the other hand, has always been the ideal prototype for absolute justice. So, what could have created such a huge rift between these two men? My theory is that they were together on an extremely delicate mission one that deeply marked Dragon and led him to question everything he believed about the Navy's and the world government's justice. In Chapter 1097, we learned that Dragon was trained in strategy and weaponry within the Navy. This is significant because it shows he wasn't just another recruit. He had potential, perhaps even being groomed for a high-ranking position. We know the Navy values such talent. However, this same rigid structure also severely punishes those who don't follow its vision of justice. And that's where Akainu comes in. During a mission involving civilians, Dragon might have witnessed something that shocked him deeply. Something Akainu did in the name of absolute justice. Perhaps it was the destruction of an entire village to capture a single criminal, or the execution of innocent people who were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. Think about it. Dragon grew up in an environment where justice was a central pillar. He believed he was doing the right thing by joining the Navy. But upon seeing Akainu's brutality, a justice that spares no one and sacrifices everything to fulfill orders, Dragon may have realized that this wasn't what he wanted to protect. He might have confronted Akainu directly, trying to stop him. And here's the key point. Their clash wasn't just physical, but ideological. Akainu, being who he is, would never tolerate being questioned by someone he considered inferior or naive. To him, Dragon was just another Marine who didn't understand the true nature of their work. Now, if we analyze Akainu's behavior during Marineford, we see he's not someone who tolerates desertions or betrayals. He was ruthless with Ace and showed no remorse for his actions. This gives us a glimpse of how he likely dealt with Dragon back then. When Dragon decided to turn against the Navy, he didn't just abandon his position. He directly challenged the structure Akainu embodies. That challenge wouldn't have been forgotten. Akainu's anger isn't just about Dragon being a revolutionary today, but about the personal affront he represented in the past. And this ties into the Conqueror's haki. When Akainu mentions that Luffy inherited it from his father, he's not just acknowledging Dragon's power, he's implicitly admitting that Dragon once faced him as an equal. Conqueror's haki isn't something just anyone has. It's a power reserved for those capable of leadership and dominance. If Dragon confronted Akainu Akainu in the past, he might have used this haki to assert himself, something that must have deeply wounded the Admiral's pride. Remember when Luffy used haki in Marineford and caused several soldiers to faint? Now imagine something like that, but coming from Dragon during a direct clash with Akainu? Moreover, Dragon's choice to leave the Navy and found the Revolutionary Army wasn't just a political decision. It was also a declaration that he no longer believed in the justice preached by the world government. This must have felt like a personal blow to Akainu, who likely saw Dragon as a promising talent, someone who could have risen to the top of the organization. The fact that Dragon rejected all of that and on top of it became the government's greatest enemy is something Akainu would never forgive. Every time he sees Luffy, he doesn't just see a pirate, he sees the continuation of Dragon's legacy, someone who dared to defy him. If we piece together the clues Oda has left throughout the series, we can begin to form a more complete picture. For instance, in the Ohara flashback, we saw how the Navy was used as a tool to silence the truth. Dragon, having access to privileged information as a Marine, may have discovered something about the Void Century or the Poneglyphs. This would explain why he decided to rebel, but it would also explain why Akainu hates him so much. To Akainu, Dragon isn't just a traitor. He's someone who threatens to expose secrets the world government is desperate to hide. Another interesting detail is the fact that Dragon has never been shown fighting directly in the series so far. This might be a deliberate choice by Oda to heighten the mystery surrounding his power, but it could also be a way to preserve the grand revelation of his strength for the right moment. When Dragon and Akainu finally face off again, we'll get to see the direct outcome of this rivalry that began in the past. It will be a battle not only of strength, but of ideologies, one that will show who truly has the determination to shape the world's future. For now, what we know is that Dragon and Akainu represent two opposite extremes. One believes in absolute freedom and the destruction of the oppressive system, while the other follows an unyielding justice that leaves no room for questioning. The clash between them is not just a matter of power, it's a collision of completely incompatible worldviews. And considering Oda's track record, we know he loves to build stories with these deep layers, where nothing is what it seems at first glance. If they both really served as vice admirals at the same time, their time together could have been the start of the tensions between them. The vice admiral title in the Navy carries immense weight. It signifies not only combat mastery, but also leadership and often political influence. Dragon and Akainu, with their strong personalities and completely different philosophies of justice, likely clashed in numerous situations. As vice admirals, they would have had access to critical missions and confidential information, which could have heightened their differences even more. One possibility is that Dragon, even back then, showed signs of questioning the orders he received. Unlike Akainu, who follows absolute justice without hesitation, Dragon might have been more compassionate, seeking alternative solutions that didn't involve destruction or the sacrifice of innocence. This approach would have created direct conflicts with Akainu, who would view this attitude as a weakness or even a threat to the functioning of the Navy. It's possible that during a crucial mission, Akainu made extreme decisions that Dragon could not accept, leading to a heated argument or even a physical confrontation that marked the beginning of their enmity. Another interesting point is that as vice admirals, they would have interacted with key figures in the Navy, like Sengoku and Garp. Garp, being Dragon's father, would have witnessed this dynamic. We can imagine that Garp, with his peculiar sense of justice and his tendency to challenge authority, may have influenced Dragon to think independently, while Akainu likely saw Garp as a problematic figure. This triangulation of personalities, Garp, Dragon, and Akainu, may have fueled the tension between the two vice admirals, with Akainu perhaps feeling that Dragon was being corrupted by his own father. Moreover, the fact that Dragon rose to the rank of vice admiral means he was already an extremely skilled combatant and strategist, traits that would position him as an equal to Akainu. This equality in power and hierarchical position might have intensified their friction, especially if Dragon questioned orders more publicly, something Akainu would never tolerate. Therefore, the rivalry between them would not only be a matter of opposing ideals, but also a personal dispute for recognition and influence within the Navy. Finally, it's fascinating to think that even before becoming the world's most wanted man, Dragon was already a figure who challenged the status quo. His time with Akainu as a vice admiral may have been the catalyst for his transformation, showing him that true justice could not be found within the system of the Navy. And this clash of visions, which started back then, continues to echo to this day, shaping the fate of both men and the world around them. Thus, the shared past between Dragon and Akainu is more than just a historical detail. It's a key element in understanding the central conflict of One Piece between freedom and control, between ideals and absolute power. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.